Hello, everybody, and good morning. Welcome back. My name is Michael. We are continuing the reading of the Word of God. We are at Numbers chapter 20 this morning. We're going to be doing chapters 20 and 21, only because time, having to get ready to go to work, and a little bit longer of a chapter 22. We'll do 20 and 21 today, and then work on getting 22, hopefully 23 and 24 tomorrow. We're definitely fast approaching the end of the book of Numbers. We only have about 16 chapters left. Yeah, just wonderful to be here this morning, to be reading for you, to be reading for me, as I definitely am always in need of it, as we all are. Keeping close to the Word of God. So yeah, without further ado, we'll go ahead and just get started into chapter 20, which is titled The Death of Miriam. Again, Miriam is the wife of Moses. And the people of Israel, the whole congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the first month, and the people stayed in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. Now there was no water for the congregation, and they assembled themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. And the people quarreled with Moses and said, "What would you have? Would that we had perished when our brothers perished before the Lord? Why have you brought the assembly of the Lord into this wilderness, that we should die here, both we and our cattle? And why have you made us come up out of Egypt to bring us to this evil place? It is no place for grain or figs or vine or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink." And just a little pause there at the end of verse 5. I don't remember exactly how many years it's been, but they've been out of Egypt for quite a while now. It's been a long time. And they're still griping and moaning and complaining about being taken out of Egypt. Like, stiff-necked people, like we all are. Right, anyways, continuing from verse 6. Then Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the entrance of the tent of meeting, and fell on their faces. And the glory of the Lord appeared to them. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the staff, and assemble the congregation, you and Aaron your brother, and tell the rock before their eyes to yield its water. So you shall bring water out of the rock for them, and give drink to the congregation and their cattle." And Moses took the staff from before the Lord, as he was commanded. Then Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly together before the rock, and he said to them, "Hear now, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock?" And Moses lifted up his hand and struck the rock with his staff twice, and water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their livestock. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not believe in me to uphold me as holy in the eyes of the people of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land that I have given you. These are the waters of Meribah, where the people of Israel quarreled with the Lord, and through them he showed himself holy." Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. Thus says your brother Israel, "You know all the hardship that we have met, how our fathers went down to Egypt, and we lived in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians dealt harshly with us and our fathers. And we cried to the Lord. He heard our voice and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. And here we are in Kadesh, a city on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your land. We will not pass through a field or vineyard, or drink water from a well. We will go along the king's highway. We will not turn aside to the right hand or to the left until we have passed through your territory." But Edom said to him, "You shall not pass through, lest I come out with the sword against you." And the people of Israel said to them, "We will go up by the highway, and if we drink of your water, and I and my livestock, then I will pay for it. Let me only pass through on foot, nothing more." But he said, "You shall not pass through." And Edom came out against them with a large army and with a strong force. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his territory, so Israel turned away from him. And they journeyed from Kadesh, and the people of Israel, the whole congregation, came to Mount Hor. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron at Mount Hor, on the border of the land of Edom, let Aaron be gathered to his people, for he shall not enter the land that I have given to the people of Israel, because you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son. And Aaron shall be gathered to his people, and shall die there. Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they went up Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son, and Aaron died there on the top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain, and when all the congregation saw that Aaron had perished, all the house of Israel wept for Aaron 30 days. Chapter 21. Arad destroyed. When the Canaanite, the king of the Arad, who lived in the Negeb near that Israel was coming by the way of Atharium, he fought against Israel and took some of them captive. And Israel vowed a vow to the Lord and said, if you will indeed give his people into my hand, then I will devote their cities to destruction. And the Lord heeded the voice of Israel and gave over the Canaanites, and they devoted them and their cities to destruction. So the name of the place was called Hormah. From Mount Hor they set out by the way to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. And the people became impatient on the way, and people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and no water, and we loathe this worthless food. Then the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, so that many people of Israel died. And the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he may take away the serpents from us. So Moses prayed for the people, and the Lord said to Moses, make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and everyone who is bitten, when he sees it, shall live. So Moses made a bronze serpent and set it on a pole. And if a serpent bit anyone, he would look at the bronze serpent and live. And the people of Israel set out and camped in Oboth. And they set out from Oboth and camped at Iabarim, in the wilderness that is opposite Moab, toward the sunrise. From there they set out and camped in the valley of Zered. From there they set out and camped on the other side of the Arnon, which is in the wilderness that extends from the border. Oh, whoops. Page stuck together, sorry. Wilderness that extends from the border of the Amorites. For the Arnon and the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Therefore it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, Waheb and Subha, and the valleys of the Arnon, and the slope of the valleys that extend to the seat of Ar, and leans to the border of Moab. And from there they continued to Beer. That is the well of which the Lord said to Moses, gather the people together so that I may give them water. Then Israel sang the song. Spring up, O well, sing to it, the well that the princes made, that the nobles of the people dug with a scepter and with their staffs. And from the wilderness they went to Madana, and from Madana to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley lying in the region of Moab by the top of Pisgah that looks down on the desert. Then Israel sent messengers to Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through your land. We will not turn aside into field or vineyard. We will not drink the water of a well. We will go by the king's highway until we have passed through your territory. But Sihon would not allow Israel to pass through his territory. He gathered all his people together and went out against Israel to the wilderness and came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. And Israel defeated him with the edge of the sword and took possession of his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, as far as to the Ammonites. For the border of the Ammonites was strong. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel settled in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all its villages. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, as far as the Arnon, before the ballad singers say, come to Heshbon, let it be built, let the city of Sihon be established. For fire came out of Heshbon, flame from the city of Sihon. It devoured Ar of Moab, and swallowed the heights of the Arnon. Woe to you, O Moab! You are undone, O people of Shamash. He has made his sons fugitives and his daughters captives to an Amorite king, Shihon. So we overthrew them. Heshbon, as far as Dibon, perished, and we laid waste as far as Nophah. Fire spread as far as Medeba. Thus Israel lived in the land of the Amorites, and Moses sent to spy to Jazer, and they captured its villages and disposed the Amorites who were there. Then they turned and went up the way to Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan came out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. But the Lord said to Moses, Do not fear him, for I have given him into your hand, and all his people in his land, and you shall do to him as you did to Sihon king of the Amorites, who lived at Heshbon. So they defeated him and his sons and all his people until he had no survivor left, and they possessed his land. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stop there at the end of chapter 21. And we get into chapter 22 tomorrow morning. I do hope you enjoy the reading and continue to do so on your own free time when capable. And of course, always welcome to tune in here for your daily reading. Also, remember that there are a large archive of other videos all throughout the New Testament, all of the New Testament. And then, of course, the first 3 books of the Old Testament as we work through this. Eventually, someday, I will have the entire Bible cataloged. And I think it's going to take a year, maybe more. We'll see. Depends. All in God's time. But again, I do thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful week. Oh, God, that you draw near to God so that he blesses you. And you're always in my prayers and thoughts. So God bless you. I love you, and I will talk to you next time.